And believe it or not, Bessie's poorly. She's hurt her leg, and we're trying to get her to stop jumping around, but as you can see, it's not working very well, is it?
No.
Oh, poor old Tansy's here. Okay, so this week, year 2. That freaks me out when we say week 5, year 2 now. But this week started off with 2 days actually taken out of renovating, working, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it was stuff that we really needed to get done. Really successfully, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, it all went well.
So, starting off with a visit to Limoges.
Good morning. We are sitting outside the Prefecture de la Haute-Vienne, waiting to go in to do our carte de séjour, so our sort of residency card, if you like.
It's exciting!
It's a little bit nerve-wracking, even though all they said is they want the passports. We sent all the documents. We sent all the documents ages ago, and they said they wanted passports and two passport pictures. So you get your identity card with your picture on it and everything like that, and you have to do biometric fingerprint and all that sort of business. So, because we're obviously, me and Lisa are fugitives from the law, on the run, Bonnie and Clyde and all that, we're slightly concerned that it might not,
Might
work
chuck us out.
They might chuck us out and deport us. But we just thought we'd give you the heads up. It is the most gloriously beautiful building and the most crappiest day. But we are actually slap bang in the middle of Limoges, which we'd never really been. But
Not to the centre, no.
And you wouldn't believe it. It's 9 o'clock. No, it's 10 o'clock on Monday morning, and there's about 6 people around. it's like my old friend Mr. Cottrell says. I went to France once. It was shut.
Okay, we're going in. Okay, so we're outside the prefecture. We've just done carte de séjour, and it was simple. Yeah. I don't know what all the worry is.
5 minutes.
You hear all these things from people,
and about how difficult it is.
Literally, we went in, had our fingerprints done, gave them their passport and photos, and voila, that was it. So, and they said to us that it will be 1 month, and we'll get our cards in the post. So we don't get them today, but yeah. We're all done. It's another thing ticked off the list that I think for any Brits coming over here is, or any foreigners coming over here, that you have this worry about all this admin you've got to do, and being able to sort of cross that language barrier and understand what's going on. And it was absolutely simple. The girls in there were lovely, weren't they?
Yeah, they are lovely, and they speak English.
And they speak English, yeah. But my one spoke French, but I knew she spoke a bit of English, but I just spoke French with her, which was great. But yeah, so yeah, another job done. So we've just had the lady from S.I.D.E.P.A around for the septic tank to have a look at the plans. And it was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was a lot better than not what we expected. We really didn't know what to expect. But she was super helpful, really, really informative, and we, as he said, the regulations we'd looked into, she sort of confirmed all the things that we already knew. So all the stuff we need to do, all the materials we need to use, are yes, like we thought. There is no stipulation as to where we can put things. We showed her the site, and she was her first comment was, "This looks perfect."
C'est parfait.
So, and what we do need to do, as we knew we had to do, is get a test done for the permeability of the soil, which will then determine the size of the épandage, the size of the filter bed. So we can have it will be up to as large as 80 metres, but we don't think it's going to have to be that big because our soil, as far as we're aware, is pretty good, and be good for the drainage. So that's great. As the siting of various pipes and and where they go, that's really up to us. She said you put them where you can. There is certain stipulations that we have to do, but as for siting them, she's saying, yeah, that's fine. You can put them there, you can put them there. She wasn't concerned. She didn't seem to have a concern about anything, which is brilliant.
Yeah. One lesson that we've learnt from this, and learnt from everything we've actually done here in France, is don't let people scaremonger you. Because we get it all the time.
We
and
have done, yeah.
You know, you go onto Facebook groups when you move to France and you ask for opinions, and like Ted always says, opinions are like bumholes. Everyone has one.
The thing is not to be, like the groups that work out with the best intentions, and some of them are super helpful. And we have looked on them, and I know colleagues and friends have looked on them and found some excellent information which there is out there. However, there is an awful lot of people, as Lisa put it. I've never said that.
You always say that. You always
never
say that.
Ever said that.
He always says it. Anyway, you do. You get people that go give you these. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. You need to do this. You need to do that. And you get really worried about all of this, all of the projects and the admin stuff that you've got to do. And then every time we've actually come to do it, it's been really straightforward, and the French have been so helpful. And in this case, we were really worried about, we'd been told there's so many regulations. And I think the good point in this also is to know that what a friend of yours might have done may be completely different to what you have to do, because it all depends on the department you're in, the type of soil you've got, the type of property you've got, the amount of bedrooms you're going to have, the amount of bathrooms you're going to have. So don't think that what somebody else has done is what you've got to do. And the best thing to say is, as well, is like with us, we can tell you what we're going to do, but that doesn't mean to say it's what you've got to do. And it's the same with every project we do here. This is what we're doing, but it doesn't mean to say that you're going to be doing it as well. It's just to give you an idea that two Joe blogs that know nothing about the type of work that we've been doing over the last year, if we can do it, anyone can do it.
And this is the thing, is when we first got here, literally I was told, like you will be told by the regulatory authorities what you have to do. And in every single thing that we have done, it has been not the case. Not the case. It has been, they are more than helpful, and they ask you what you are planning to do, and they advise. And that's all we've ever had, is advice. It's never been, you have to do this, which is, as I say, where I was told, this is, you will not get a choice. You have to do this. And that's not the case.
And considering, Air Building is a listed historical monument, you would imagine that we would have a damn sight more regulations than most people. So if we found it in that way, then I think most people would find it that way. So, like we did say in the last video when we was, talking about doing the septic tank and the epandage, and we said, I think I said, don't comment unless you're an expert and you're going to come and do it for us free of charge. Because basically,
as a volunteer.
Because basically, like I said before, what may have been the case for you may not be the case for us. Don't get frightened by these things. That's all we're saying, is don't get frightened by it.
The thing is that, there are a whole load of really good firms out there that will just come and do it for you. But what we needed to do is we needed that reassurance almost that what we wanted to do was possible to do, and she couldn't have been better for that. She was absolutely brilliant. So that is S.I.D.E.P.A. S.I.D.E.P.A. I don't know whether they're anything affiliated to S.P.A.N.K and S.P.A.N.C, Spank, or it's another department or whatever. It's a specific. It's specific to the end or various areas, but or whether they are just independent organisations that just help you out. But again, I've heard so many good things about Spank. You know, coming round and advising. One of our friends up the road, he's had them round and they've just advised him on what he do. So no none of these scare stories that you hear. It's really about just getting the advice. And like Lisa said before, you know, we have had nothing but good advice from the French, the authorities, I should say. You know, like yesterday when we went and did our thing, you know, it couldn't have been simpler, couldn't have been more what's the word, efficient.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been more efficient. You know, that's it's all about it. And I think our friend John, as you know, he's been here for a lot of years. He said when the French do it right, they do it really, really well. And I think, you know, we've had nothing but that.
Yeah.
And we've been very lucky in that one, in that respect. So, you know.
So, yeah, good news. We can crack on with the plans for the septic tank, which is our next big project. So we're going to do the soil testing as soon as we get the information through from the lady for different people that can come over and do it, and get one of them around as soon as possible. And the plan is to try and get the septic tank done and fitted within the 3rd week of May. Fingers crossed. Let's hope that happens. So, as you can see, 2 of their things that we had to get done at the beginning of the week went really, really well. It was great going out doing their carte de séjour, which is their residency card. That was absolutely brilliant, and we come out of there really chuffed, didn't we?
Yeah, it's just another leap forward, really. It's nice to know.
And so now we are legal residents in France.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done all that done.
And then the septic tank, that was a really, really big boost, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we just didn't know what was going to happen and the way it was going to go, and it couldn't really gone any better. We've still got things to do, which you'll see, but as for the initial meeting, brilliant. Brilliant.
So it was then time to crack on with some renovation work. Now, a lot of the stuff we've done this week I haven't videoed because you have seen us do it before. So here's our list of jobs and what we got done, and we'll give you a quick update of where we're at the end of the day. But there was one job that we had to do this week, which left Ted scratching his head for quite a few hours. Bessie, come away from the camera. But you got it done in the end.
Yeah. It's a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I know it's probably there'll be people out there going, you should have done this and you should have done that. It almost flummoxed me. You know, I just really didn't know what I was going to do, and then somebody changed their mind halfway through, which made it a little bit better for me. But you'll see that. Have you seen that? Yeah.
So list of jobs for this week. First job was to top coat all of the ceilings. And as you can see, I think they look rather spectacular. They looked good before, but now they've had all their top coat, brilliant. Last clean up of all the beams, they've come up a treat. Now I just need to treat them, put a parquet flooring treatment on them, and they're done, finished. Fill in the wall. Now this is where we had the plasterboard which meets the stone. And as much as Ted scribed in as much as he could, we needed to fill in the edge part. And I think I've done that pretty well, actually. As good as it can be, anyway. It's a pretty hard job to do. But yeah, I'm pleased with it. Paint the walls. It's time to get colour on those walls. So let's have a look first in the bathroom. So the bathroom paint is a petrol blue. Now, please do not comment on the colour at the moment until you see it with the tiles and the rest of the colour scheme. Now, patrons, you get a patron-only view first. I'm going to show you the colour board and show you all of the tiles and everything that's going to go with it. The rest of you, I'm afraid, going to have to wait until couple of weeks' time, because the tiles for the bathroom, although they were ordered months and months ago, still haven't arrived and won't be arriving until the 15th of May, which is a shame. But I absolutely love the colour of the walls, and when it's put together with everything else, I think it's going to look absolutely spectacular. And then we're on to the paint in the bedroom area and the kitchen area. Again, might look quite dark, but you wait till you see it with the rest of the colour scheme. It's going to look amazing. I really love it. I absolutely love it. So now we've got paint on the walls, colour on the walls. It's coming along. It's looking really great. The next job. This is something that was quite a task. Boxing in under the window. Over to Ted. Hello, baby. What are you up to?
Back to the old plasterboard again.
How are you getting on?
Yeah.
So Teddy Bear's had a bit of a mare with this insert here. Trying to figure out all the different curvatures and
Angles and stuff.
angles.
And that, I'm happy with that now, because as you can see, there is no, okay, there's a little bit of filling that to do here, so there's going to be a bit down there, but no funny shape that comes out there, because I've managed to move the pipes, and my box was just big enough to go over the top.
So do you want to explain what you're doing with this? After lots of consideration.
So after lots of deliberation, and I just could not get my head round what I had to do, because there is a point now, looking at it now, that we could just have that, and I could have made it a certain height and we could have had a seat. However, stupidly, I mentioned the fact that we could probably have a little blanket box or something there, which would make use of the space rather than just a seat. And although it would have made a lovely seat. So that is why I've had to box in the pipe work, and I'm not going into the recesses there, because then it allows us to have like the box that I'll get my tape measure out and use as a pointer. So here, across here, and down here, and this will have a lid on it. So you will raise up and you will use this entire area as a blanket box for a quilt, pillows, whatever you so desire. So there's a little front edge here, which is like a perch. If anybody in England knows, I'm sure it's worldwide. You can find perches, it's only about 300mm high. Oh, look at that, it's 301. 301. 310 actually, sorry. But it's, it just makes a little sort of area because of the pipes running through, because of the pipes through at funny angles. This, that, and the other, it just gets rid of that. This bit here, which looks very peculiar, why it's high, is because we're having a breakfast bar out here. So this is to hide the pipes, it's to enable us to put a socket inside, and then there will be a little fridge in there, and then the breakfast bar will come out there. Just to give you a bit more workspace in the little kitchen area, which is behind the camera lady. But it has caused me, quite a lot of problems. But I think I made it, I had to make it sturdy enough because of obviously the pipe work. I was worried about that if, the pipe work breaks. There was, little problems because the pipe work was sticking up and all this sort of thing. And, down the line, and you learn, we don't know, we learn how to do things. But that's bits, I'm just putting plasterboard on the top there because it doesn't need to have any, because all the woodworkers gives it integral strength, and so the plasterboard will be fine. Lisa will come along and do her situation in there. she won't need to do anything here. And this will be a wooden top, but again, probably wooden framework with a plasterboard front, but a wooden top, like the ones upstairs, because that'll be a nice wooden top with the colour contrast. I don't care anymore. No, I've got to the point now that I'm actually putting a plasterboard in, which is good, you know, to give me some stuff. And I'm pleased that, you know, this area it makes sense now, because it didn't make sense before. I was going to put pillars here, I was going to put...
Can I just say something?
Go on.
If you wanted to just leave that as a seat, then you can.
You could do a very thick cushion. And it could be quite, you know, it's up to you. I could... Because
then you could put big cushions around it.
I could quite easily make it higher.
I don't think you'd need to. If I put
the thing is that isn't very high. It's quite, you know... Is that too low?
I don't know. Once it's got a cushion on it...
It'd have to be quite
a thick foam cushion.
And then, you know, a cushion back, maybe.
And then put loads of little cushions in there as a nice little niche sort of... What do you think?
I don't know, it's up to you. Do you need the storage? Would you like the storage?
Babe, we've got hundreds of barns. Do we really need the storage?
Not necessarily. Do you need another seat? This is the sort of thing that, as I say, I could construct something above this. You know, I could plasterboard. This is the thing. I could, you know, the only trouble is obviously is that it won't be, you know, that will have an edge. Because I ain't taking them out. Well, I could take them out now that this is started glued, and I possibly could, you know, go straight down. Although I've got nothing to attach to there. But then, you know, once you've got...
What do you think?
That's up to you. It's you know, it's no more... It's less work for me, really. I just wonder if it is, you know... I suppose in some ways you could you say to yourself, right, okay, I'll open the window and I'll sit there looking out, not much, big hole in the roof. But that's sort of quite, you know, that, I suppose if you had, you know, you had the thing, it's almost like if you had children, you know, or you've had a little doggy, this would be a perfect place for this.
Yeah. Hans would love it.
Hans would love the perch, yeah.
Should we do it?
It's up to you. Do you want to do it? Do you want me to leave it like this and do it, or do you want it taller than this?
Let me come and try it.
Because, yeah, if you being of restricted growth...
So as you can see, eventually he come up with a solution and he got the job done. So the last job of this week was for me to start a little craft project on the fireplace. Now we're in the workshop and probably going to be here for the next 2 to 3 days on a project that I'm trying to do. Now, I really want to do something quite spectacular with the fireplace in apartment 1. I think it really deserves it. And I'd like to, I don't know, do something very different with it. And I'd like to use some fleur-de-lis because obviously in the fire, we've got the fleur-de-lis pattern in the cast iron fire. So my idea was I wanted to make some moulds, fleur-de-lis moulds. And I first of all tried this by making a mould out of, you know, the plaque that we have outside, which is the Forge de Mondon plaque dating back to the, I think it's 1816, something like that. So I tried to make the silicone moulds out of that, and it failed because the mould was it wasn't deep enough. The mould wasn't deep enough when I made it. So I then inserted some extra silicone to try and make it deeper. But as soon as I poured the plaster of Paris into it and it dried, when I tried to take it out, it took out all the edges with it as well. that I'd put in. So it just didn't work. It's gonna be too fiddly. So I thought, how am I going to get another large fleur-de-lis mould? And I couldn't find any online at all. All I could find was the little cake ones that you know make cake moulds out of. So I thought, well, I've got some polymer clay. I'll try to make my own. So that's what I've been doing today. After all my failed attempts on the plaque, I've now made a fleur-de-lis mould out of polymer clay. I'm going to go and put it in the oven, let it set. Then I'm going to have to make a silicone mould on top of that. And then hopefully I'll have my proper silicone mould, because I've made the polymer clay mould quite deep. So I'm really hoping it's going to take. So if it doesn't, then I think I'm probably going to have to give up on the fleur-de-lis part, which I don't really want to. But yeah, go and put it in the oven and let's see how it turns out. Okay, so it's going in the oven. And it needs to go on for quite a long time, but at really low temperature. So, where are we? Let's put it at 120, I think. Okay, so it needs to go in there for a good couple of hours, and then we'll come back later and see how it is. Okay, so while I'm waiting for my polymer clay to cook in the oven, I'm now making the other pieces that I need for my Fireplace extravaganza. So what I want is a fleur-de-lis either side, fleur-de-lis in the middle, and then I want plaster of Paris drapes. So I've made my drapes and out of fabric. I had a pick through loads of different fabric to see which ones would be best, and it worked out that sort of thicker fabric would be better for it. So now what I'm going to do is paint the fabric in situ, in its formity. Is that the right word? With plaster of Paris. It's quite a loose mix, so I can paint it on. And it will probably need quite a few coats. So you need to do one coat, let it dry, do another coat, let it dry, so on and so on, until you've got your plaster of Paris drape. So let's give it a go. I'm telling you, this is how you do it. I haven't got a clue because I've never done it before, but I'm just thinking that I'm hoping it's going to work. So I need to paint my fabric. Now the first go, I'm assuming, is probably going to be the hardest, because you've got to then put it back into sort of the shape you want before it dries. Once it's dried in that shape, the second coating will be easier, because it will already be sort of in the shape that you want, and have a harder texture, consistency, whatever. So slapping it on. Okay, well, I think that's as good as it's going to get at the moment. So now, right, need to let that dry, and then once it's completely dry, come and do another coat. So I'm just going to quickly wash my bowl up before that dries completely. That looks fine. Right, so we are at the moment measuring to see how long I need my drapes for my fireplace.
That is the centre.
Yeah.
Right, let me just measure that side and see if it is. Oh, I'm not far out. Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, alright. So that is my centre.
Right, so it's going to have one fleur-de-lis.
So that's going to have one up there.
So measure.
Which we know is 20.
You can measure it down the bottom, baby. Just we know we're going to go up the top, but just measure. So the fleur-de-lis is 20 wide, yeah.
20 wide.
So measure 20 from the middle. So 10.
20 wide.
10 either side, yeah. So that's going to be the fleur-de-lis.
Look, excuse me, right? Don't tell me about 20 wide and there's 10 either side. Just have a look at that contraption down there. Talk about angles, talk about bloody measuring. Flipping hell.
Right, so fleur-de-lis in the middle.
So, you have got, now, to the end, 108.
Right, so measure the other fleur-de-lis that side. So the fleur-de-lis will come 10 in.
You want it 10 in.
And then will be 20 long.
10 in, 20 there, so 30, yeah? So
Yeah.
that's the other one.
So now I need the measurements between that line.
Do you want, so from the edge
Yeah.
of your fleur-de-lis to the edge of that one
Yeah.
is 78.
78.
78 between, so 78 is your drapes. Bearing in mind your drapes are doing that.
Yeah.
So 78 from point to point.
Yeah. Thank you very much, baby. Back in the workshop, and haven't got as far as I really wanted to. It's it's a game of patience, which I don't have, doing this project. So I'm not going to be able to show you the finished design this week. It's really weird. Saturdays to me is a bit like I'm on a game show and you've got a certain amount of time to finish it. And it's like, okay, step back from your work now because I have to go and do the video for you guys for tomorrow. So I've got to stop now, but I'll show you where I'm at the moment and hopefully next week it'll be finished. So I've got my 3 fleur-de-lis. They're sitting out here still drying. Now, the problem I had is, I don't know if you can see a little break there. A couple of the little arms broke off. So I've stuck them on with some Bond. I'm hoping they're going to stick. If not, I'll have to ask Ted if he's got something stronger. But I need to leave them to dry. But they've come out really good, actually. So these are plaster of Paris that came from the moulds. I have to say, the mould that I made, out of the silicone, they don't last. You know, every time you use them, a little chunk falls off of it. So it comes apart a bit. So they don't last forever. Now, the swag that I did, you saw me doing the swag. That's how it's come out. Now, I don't know. This one, me and Ted decided would be too heavy and it's too big. So I tried some more. I've got 2 here. It looks a bit of a mess at the moment, but they're drying. Again, I'm really not sure that they're going to work and look as good as I thought that they would. But I'll give it a few more coats and we'll see when they're dry, see what they look like. If not, I might have to come up with a different plan of how to link the fleur-de-lis together on the fireplace. But anyway, it will have to be finished next week. And hopefully I'd have sorted something out. Let's go back and see how Ted's finished up. baby. 7 o'clock Saturday. Your time is up. Stand away from the work project.
Stand away from work. It's not been bad. Apart from the 3 days trying to get this sorted out, trying to get my head around that. And when you look at it, you think, what's your problem? That's the trouble, is that it started off as being one project, and then somebody decided they wanted something else.
Excuse me, you was the one who put the thought in my head.
So all of this needs to be filled and made nice. That's not so bad, but needs to be nice. But this needs to be inspection hatch. This needs to be inspection, a little inspection. Although I'm not particularly concerned about that, because it's just that tap on and off. I'm not, because we're going to have a stopcock out there.
Yeah.
So I don't see that and that's all the water does. So I don't see the point. So I might just run that in, and when the electrician turns up, you'll go, what? It's just stuff, mate. It's my house. I do what I want. My house, do what I want. So that's, and this is where the breakfast bar is going. That was obviously a problem because we had to incorporate that into that, which has caused issues. But we're going to do something a little bit fancy around here. But I'm not going to tell you that because that's may well be. But I'm going to have a day off tomorrow.
We are, and
we're going to have a day off.
We're going out in the afternoon to have some wine with some friends up the road.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But the thing is, what I will do tomorrow is I'm going to have a proper clear up, and I'm going to transfer, and I'm going to sort out my toolboxes. That's my little job, and that to me is downtime.
Good.
That sort of thing is downtime.
Great. So next week,
self-leveling, bathroom, shower tray in, tile that floor. I may well leave Lisa to tile that floor.
Oh, am I giving it a shot actually?
Yeah, there's no problem. There's no reason why you can't. I've got to do the boxing in there. Once I've done that, I can put the worktop on and do all that business and then tile at the back there.
So hopefully next week we should have a good week.
Yeah, it should be.
It was all the fiddly stuff this week.
Well, the only trouble is Tuesday we got out, or supposed Tuesday early Tuesday we got out because we've got to go see the accountant. But that's all that I know is going on.
Cool.
But we're out of lockdown on Monday.
Yay! Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So we can go out. we can go out and paint the town red. We can paint the town rouge basque. Right. Let's go have some grub, shall we, Bubba?
Yeah.
I'll put that fire on because it's getting a bit chilly now.
It is.
7 o'clock.
So as you can see, we've cracked on. We've got a lot done, and we are actually getting there now. There's colour on the walls. I love that part with it. Colour on the walls.
Colour on the walls.
And start planning. So hopefully next week you'll see a lot more colour on the walls. And
how often do we say hopefully next week?
But I have to say, apartment one's taken us a lot longer than we expected, and I think it's because there are just so much involved in apartment one, isn't there?
Well, because we never really had sort of a plan. It was we were going to put things here and put things there, and we're going to do this and do that, and and we made the bathroom too big. So that made issues, whatever. But it is what it is. And we're knocking them off as we go through. Yeah, what more can we do?
So now a lot of people keep saying, we've had a lot of comments recently, people saying, we can't believe you've only got 6,000 odd subscribers still. Why haven't you got more? I don't know why. Give us your suggestions as to why. But if you can help in any way by sharing the link to the channel on Facebook, on any social media platforms, please do. Because a very good suggestion that one of our subscribers came up with was, that we found the building, obviously, that we showed you the building with no access to it other than the window opening at the top. And everyone keeps saying, we want to see inside, we want to see inside, we want to see inside. However, we can't let ourselves be distracted at the moment. So what we're going to say is that once we get to 7,000 subscribers, we will poke our head through that window. And we're going and have an exploration and see what is in there.
We might even chuck somebody in there just to have a look. Don't know yet.
The dog.
haven't decided yet. Might chuck the little one in there.
With a GoPro.
Maybe that'll stop her. Yeah, with a GoPro tied to her head.
Actually, I think it was one of our patrons that came up with a really good suggestion that they was going to send us a monkey with a GoPro.
Very good idea. Very good
I'd like them both, actually, monkey and a GoPro.
Yeah,
anyway, that's our week at Chateau de Montmagner. We'll see you all again next week. Take care, everyone. Love you all. Stay safe.
Subscribe,
Bye.
like and subscribe, please.
Bye.
Please. Now we've got to do some work.
Yeah.
Come on.
We would like to say a huge thank you to all of our supporters, from our patrons to our GoFundMe donors, the people that are buying us a coffee on Go Buy Me a Coffee, and you, our subscribers, each week watching the adverts for us to give us a little bit of income each month. Even if it just adds up to a bag of sand, it all helps. Thank you so much for sticking by us for the past year. Let's hope there's a lot more to go. Take care, everyone. See you all next week. Bye bye.
Could tell you I don't care, but it's a lie. Can't stand to hear you say those words, baby, goodbye. Now she takes me to all these places, places I can't believe. Introduce me to all these faces, I just don't want to leave. Hold on tight, let's go for a ride. I hate to see you leaving, my summer dress girl. These feelings that you give me don't get better in the world. I could tell you I don't care, but it's a lie. Can't stand to hear you say those words, baby, goodbye. She makes the sun shine brighter than it ever did before. I wanna hold her a little bit tighter. I just want some more, 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 so much more. I hate to see you leaving, my summer dress girl. These feelings that you give me don't get better in the world. You listening, baby? I want more, so much more. Always really knew what I was looking for. Someone to share my dreams, someone to follow me. Make me happy. I hate to see you leaving, my summer dress girl. These feelings that you give me don't get better in the world. I could tell you I don't care, but it's a lie.